Hello you fans, Madarant here, and welcome to an updated deck profile with Fluffals for the April 2016 ban list. So this is a deck I played on stream yesterday. It's a very powerful and fun deck, has the ability to be a good rogue deck, except against obviously Monarchs, because the main Monarchs is still a thing in the TCG, and when they go, this will definitely be a very powerful rogue deck to use against meta decks such as Cosmo, because Cosmo is a good matchup for this deck essentially, because they can't really get over Saber Tiger or Sheep as effectively unless they're fighting Cosmo, and then they can bring out Infinity. So you have the ability to break their board as well in this deck, so hopefully you should not have too much problem with that against Cosmo. But this deck is very fun to use and has the ability to summon out Starvenom Fusion Dragon, which comes out in Invasion of Venom. It has the ability to target a special monster on its summon to increase its attack by that monster's attack. This was used by my partner in a tag duel on stream to increase its Starvenom's attack by 8,000 because they had an endless decay on board, which was really funny indeed to win this game. But yeah, essentially this card is not as good as it originally probably first thought. It's not as good as Clearwing, it's not as good as Dark Rebellion, but it's still a very decent card to bring out, but its restriction is limiting on this, so I have to run a specific engine to basically get this card out. But I'll go into that further in this video. The max damage output at the moment that I've been able to output essentially is 35,000. I'll leave that replay at the end of this video because it's really funny. Although you didn't get a chance to set up essentially, if you have an opponent that doesn't have a good opening hand, you're instantly going to have this win condition there, because it's Fluffals. This can ATK and tag duels. So without further ado, let's go into the deck profile. We have triple Fluffal Dog. It is our Stratos for the deck, such that Edge and Sabers, or our Fluffals to get our engine off. It's such that Toy Burn essentially through Fluffal Bear, such our Polymerization. It searches out our Rebuttal play, and it also searches out our wings for our Toy Vendor combo, which is very good indeed. Or if you want your Tiger, you get the Edge of Sabers. Then we run triple Fluffal Bear to search out the Toy Vendor. Specifically, its secondary effect I hardly ever resolve, so I won't go into that. I have two Fluffal Owl in this. It searches out the Polymerization, and it can be better than Fluffal Dog in some cases, because you don't need Fluffal Dog to OTK your opponent. Fluffal Owl is more crucial, and it can also be used to get around Naturia Beast as you can fusion summon from your field using monster you control by paying 500 life points, but you can't use each effect during that same turn, which is annoying, but it's still an amazingly good card. One Fluffal Sheep or our rebuttal play when we're forced to go turn 1. If we have the ability to go Fluffal Sheep, we can add it to our hand through Fluffal Dog. It can bounce back our Fluffal Dog to summon out an engine from our hand or graveyard and gives us a tiny little wall without hurting us too badly. And we also get a Surge for next turn, so that's really good. Then one Fluffal Cat to add Polymerization back to our hand when it's used as a fusion material. It's a very good card indeed. Then two Fluffal Wings, as it's a Toy Vendor wing combo, where you banish Fluffal Wings and a Fluffal in your graveyard to destroy your Toy Vendor, draw 2 cards, and search through Toy Vendor's effect. A Fire Lake of draws, if you will. It's just a very good card indeed. 3 of them does clog, but if you're playing the Brilliant Fusion Engine, which this deck tried to do, but I didn't enjoy it, you had to have to run a third one. But for the pure version, you run 2, essentially. Then we run 3 King of the Swamp, which searches out Polymerization and can be used in Edge of Sabers, or Edge of Chain, or Edge of Saw in every occasion except from the summon of Frightful Wolf, because they need the exact summon. So it's still a very brilliant card in this deck, but it has a restriction essentially for 2 of the monsters, because you also can't summon out Saber Tiger through it. Then we have triple Edge and Chain. This searches out our Frightful cards, which is brilliant. It can be used for Toy Vendor fodder, which is also a very good play as well. Our turn 1 play with Fluffal Sheep, because that's the best way summon monster you can summon out with Fluffal Sheep is Edgem Chain. Then we run 2 Edgem Sabers to basically, you can use this for a top decking scheme to ensure that Toy Vendor does special summon a monster, but that doesn't come up as often. It's mainly just used for Fryfer Wolf access, searchable, and Fryfer Tiger summons. And then 1 Tour Guide. This is the more techier option I'm running in the deck. I haven't actually resolved her, to be fair, but in theory, you summon out Tour Guides, especially summon Edgem Sabers. That gets you the option for Fryfer's Tiger later on, but it can also give you 2 Dark Monsters on the board, so you can summon out Starvenom and Fusion Dragon, but I generally don't go into him just because I can probably kill him before using his effects. But he's there for when we need it. It's a very good utility card. Now onto the spells, we have 1 Raigeki and 1 Dark Hole, probably side the second Dark Hole. It's an OTK deck, it would have OTK based cards in it. 2 Twin Twisters for the Monarch matchup, or for the Mars matchups, as Twin Twisters is very, very good indeed. Plus it can put our Fluffal Wing or Edgem Chain into the graveyard, effectively, or Toy Vendor itself. So Toy Vendor is also at 3 in this deck. It can be used as a mill engine, as you can discard 1 card from your hand and then draw 1 card, reveal it. If it's a Fluffal monster, you get to keep it, and you get the ability to special summon a monster from your hand. It doesn't have to be the Fluffal monster that you drew through this, but you don't have to do this effect. But if you don't draw a Fluffal card, you have to discard it, which can be used in a lot of decks, a lot of mill decks essentially. But for this purpose, it's basically just to fuel our graveyard and engine for Fryfer Fusion, and hopefully get a special summon of Fluffal Owl or Fluffal Dog, which is great. And when it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a Fluffal monster or an Edgem Saber from your deck to your hand, which is brilliant because you can destroy this through Tiger and get a search through that as well. Then 1 Upstart Goblin for consistency, 1 Fryfer Factory. This was originally a test, but I really liked it a lot. It extends your combos for going per game. It's really good, very much indeed. You have the ability to banish a polymerization or fusion spell from your graveyard to fusion summon a Fryfer monster using monsters in your hand on your side of the field as material. So basically it's an extra copy of polymerization that can banish instant fusion or polymerization or Fryfer fusion to fusion summon, which is pretty brilliant indeed. When it's sent to the graveyard, you can target a banished Fryfer fusion, so this is the main one you'd want to banish with this, to get it back to your hand, which is good because we only run 2 Fryfer Fusion in this build. So yeah, 2 Fryfer Fusion. At 3 it was cloggy, but at 2 it's quite nice, particularly with the Fryfer Factory. It has the ability to basically miracle fusion using your monsters on board and in your graveyard. Enough said about that. Then we have triple polymerization. It's searchable very effectively in this deck, so why not run it? You can use Fusion Substitute, but I'm quite against that card, mainly because you can only use monsters on your board, whereas polymerization can use elements in your hand. Plus you can end up banishing to gain its draw effect, which I think kind of outweighs it slightly, but I wouldn't want to get rid of one of these polymerizations in the graveyard unless I had to. Then we have Triple Instant Fusion. This is more or less a card I didn't think was going to be good in this deck, but it's absolutely brilliant. You pay 1,000 life points to special summon out your Fryfer Sheep or Elder Entity Norden and get plus from that. It's a count as a fusion summon, so you can revive it as well through Fryfer Saber Tiger, which is brilliant indeed. Instant Fusion extends a lot of OTK potential in this deck. Then we use 2 Fusion Reserve as our only trap cards in the deck. You can reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck, add a material that is listed on it. So for example, you can add Edgem Chain, Edgem Sabers, that's Edgem Sabers again, Fluffal Bear, and Edgem Sword that we don't run, from your deck to your hand. And then you can add a polymerization from your graveyard to your hand, which is also very powerful indeed, particularly if you can't OTK your opponent. You can use it as a rebel play or as a perfect turn 1 play to get your things. It's the only way you can search out Edgem Chain in the deck, but since you run 3, you draw into enough anyway. So that is the main deck. Onto the extra deck, we run one Fairy Cheer Girl. It's a very good card because you can detach material and draw one card. Very simple, very nice indeed. Very good with Norden since it is a fairy. One Castell because it's a very powerful spot removal card. Always run it in most of my decks that can make it. Then we have the fusions. We have one Identity Norden to make Castell or the Sheer Girl, three Fur Sheep, which is Archimedes for the deck when it's attacked or is attacking, which is brilliant indeed. When it's destroyed by battle or by card effect of your opponent's desire, you can send it to the graveyard, it can special summon itself and gain 800 attack, but you can only use this effect of 5 sheep once per turn, which is pretty brilliant because you usually go, say against Cosmo, you have a 5 tiger and a 5 sheep on the board, you crash the 5 sheep into the Dark Destroyer, it doesn't get destroyed because of the fact that it's weaker, and it sends out the 5 sheep back with about 34-3200 attack, crashes into that Dark Destroyer, and Dark Destroyer can't flow because of Archimedes effect, which means it's absolutely brilliant. So brilliant for this deck, and perfect card to bring out in your Cosmo matchup. Then we have triple Fryfer Tiger. This has the ability to target cards on the field up to the number of fusion materials for this monster summon and destroy them, which can be a full board wipe if you use enough materials, but generally use about 2 to 4, which is pretty nice to get 3 pops if you go up to about 4 area. It also has the ability to increase all Fryfers by the attack of 300 for each Fluffal and Fryfer you control, which basically hypes up your Fryfer Wolf on a 4 monster board about 3600, on a 5 monster board 3900, which basically is game with 2 to 3 attacks of Fryfer Wolf, not including the attacks of Tiger, which is amazing. The only downside to this card is that you can only control one Fryfer Tiger, so you can't max out on it. It would be absolutely broken if it was. Then we have one Fryfer Wolf. I generally don't need to summon a second one, so one is basically what we need for this deck. 2 used to be the usual one because we didn't really use Instant Fusion before then, but now we don't have the room, so one Fryfer Wolf is fine. It can attack up to the amount of monsters used for this fusion summon, but it can only be fusion summoned using Ancient Sabers, which you have to be aware of. Then we have one Fryfer Bear, basically just for the fusion reserve, but you can summon it out sometimes. It's generally not very powerful, to be fair, but it comes in ultimate rare, so that's something nice. You can have a nice party card. The only card in the Fryfer lineup that is not high rarity is Fryfer Wolf being a rare, so that's kind of a letdown, but getting this as an ultimate rare is quite nice. Then we have one Fryfer Leo for a Bulbasaurus play. We generally don't summon this out, it's only summoned through King of the Swamp. It's basically got the same effect as Bulbasaurus there. Then we have 2 Fryfer Saber Tiger. Sometimes I want a third one of this because I can bring it out, but it's generally not needed. 2 of them with a Fryfer Sheep basically is game there. It has the ability to target a Fryfer on its fusion summon and special summon it back from the graveyard. Since you usually use this with Instant Fusion actually summons the monster correctly, so Fryfer Saber Tiger can reborn the sheep. And it has the ability to increase all Fryfer monsters' attacks by 400. If it uses 3 materials or more for this fusion summon, it can be destroyed by card effect or battle, which is absolutely brilliant against the Cosmo matchup since their main destruction is through battle and card effects. So they can't really screw your Saber Tiger over except from like Infinity, which means you can just sit on this monster in defense and be completely in a calm place, unless they can access something that can get rid of it, which is kind of hard unless you're playing Viking Cosmo, then sometimes you can. So there, we got one more card, which is the Star Venom, which I mentioned earlier. When it is fusion summon, you can target a special summon monster your opponent controls and increase this card's attack by equal to that monster's attack with something like, say, Endless Decay in a tag duel. This increased by 8,000 attack and made it 10,800 for the turn, which was absolutely brilliant. It also has a secondary effect to target a level 5 or higher monster your opponent controls, and it gains a set name and effect for the rest I think it's for the rest of the turn. Yes, it's the rest of the turn, which is pretty nice if you're taking control of something like Crystal Wing and smashing into Crystal Wing, if they haven't negated this, obviously, or they used the negation already, which is pretty nice indeed. Its final effect is not going to be resolved that much, mainly because they know of the effect. They won't really usually destroy this. But when it is destroyed, if it's been fusion summoned, you can destroy all special summon monsters your opponent controls, which is pretty nice indeed. The only downside to this card that is quite notable is that it has to be 2 non-dark monsters, well, non-token dark monsters on the field. So you can't fusion summon from the hand, which is a tad little let down, but it can still be made in this deck through Tour Guide, which is particularly why I want to play this deck. Although I've never summoned it out myself, I have the ability to, which is nice indeed. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the deck. I'll go on to the replay now. And onto the replay. So my opponent made some questionable moves during this duel, but essentially it's just proof of what this deck can do with the max output of 35,100 damage. So I start my Fluffal Bear, get Toy Vendor, special summon through its effect to get Fluffal Owl, and do some searching. Fluffal Dog, search out the wings to do the combo, discard, banish, draw for basically free, Regeki my opponent, instant fusion for Frightfur Sheep, polymerization for Frightfur Tiger to destroy Toy Vendor, Fluffal Cat, add back my polymerization, get a search for Fluffal Dog, for a role play, summon out Cyber Tiger, Edge and Chain, gives me a Frightfur Fusion, or Frightfur Factory, it was Factory, and I go for the Frightfur Wolf summon out. I'm kind of out of breath at this point. He quits after the first attack, but I don't know why, because he had goals, he would have got defense here, but essentially I got 5 monsters on the board, 2 of them are 4,700, which is hard for my opponent to deal with. My Frightfur Wolf has the ability to essentially, I believe, attack 4 to 5 times. Let's see, when this, no, 4 times. So it's got 4 attacks there, which is about 17,200. Yeah, 17,200 damage alone from Frightfur Wolf. Then add an extra 4,700 each, which is about 9,600 damage to that, plus 4,300 and 4,200, which equals 35,100 damage. If my opponent didn't have like goals or something like that, it would have basically been complete game with no way of stopping it. Although he did, he just quit after that. He didn't think he could get any way of getting out of this situation, which is up to him obviously. But essentially this is what you can do with the deck. I absolutely love it, and I hope you guys love it too. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe if you enjoyed this and want to see further content. Please leave your comments below. You guys suggest my deck or suggest my channel in general. If there's any decks you want to see updated for the ban list, leave them down below in the comments. I will endeavor to do so. And if you want to see me on streaming, the link to that is in my Facebook page. This is my Facebook page, which is in the description below. Thank you for watching. Matt Duran signing out.